Hi everyone and welcome to EGX 2019. So far I've managed to spend some time with Cyberpunk 2077 behind me, which was a hands-off gameplay presentation. Visuals, as you would expect from what we've seen so far, absolutely stunning. Keanu Reeves was there in all of his glory, and we saw a combination of play styles between stealth and all that action. It'll be interesting to see when we actually get our hands on it next year, how much it will have changed from this presentation, and also whether it will be as extreme as either you do stealth or you do action. So in what's becoming a bit of a theme for EGX so far, I just had a chance to see gameplay of Death Stranding, which comes out in just a couple of weeks' time, from Hideo Kojima. In a sense that I expected it to be weird, it was definitely that. I mean, when your starting point is you've got a fetus strapped to your chest and it's raining, and if the rain hits you, it causes you to age. Very odd. Starting to see actually how the game is played was quite interesting. So we saw two different types of exoskeletons, one heavily armored to increase your carrying capacity, and then one to increase your speed. And equally, players could build lockers or recharge stations out in the world, which then you can make use of, or equally you can leave for other players. So yeah, pretty interesting. So what else have we been up to? Firstly, we popped over to see Everspace 2, which is currently being kickstarted after a very successful first game to expand the game into an open world. They're planning on adding a 20-30 hour linear campaign section to it, and it was playing really well. Next up was Circuit Superstars. A few technical issues, but certainly shaping up to be a fair racing arcade game. We also popped into the Coatsink, publishers of both Phogs and Cake Bash, two highly anticipated titles which are both due out next year. Phogs is a puzzle game which sees you control a double-headed dog, red and blue, to navigate certain areas, and Cake Bash is a multiplayer brawler which, in the vein of Super Smash Bros., has you all on one screen battling for dominance, but in this time you're cakes, basically. You're basically fighting to be the tastiest cake, which is all just very wholesome and good. Also spent some time with the Avengers after a sort of uncertain reveal at E3. The actual gameplay is looking reasonably good. The combat can seem a little bit basic comparing it to something like Batman Arkham or even Sony PS4 Spider-Man, but it's shaping up pretty well. You got to try out each of the characters in the demo, and they all have their own strengths and weaknesses. It'll be interesting to see how the team balances through the rest of the game. Finally, we spent some time trying to play the Final Fantasy VII Remake. As a total non-Final Fantasy player, I found it pretty challenging, if I'm honest, and struggled to get to the end, particularly because Cloud decided to get himself incapacitated pretty quickly, and I couldn't work out how to revive him, but eventually I did. And fended off a nasty baddie beastie, which we will have seen in the E3 demo. So it's Nintendo time, and therefore I have come appropriately dressed today for some Pokémon Sword and Shield. Let's take a look. Getting hands on with the new Pokemon was great stuff. You know, all of the three starters look good, and I'm sure their evolved forms will look less cute but more cool, as is the way. Dynamaxing Pokemon, I think, will be a really interesting element. We got to play through the water gym level, firstly navigating the gym itself, and then taking on the gym leader, which was good fun. It's also Fighting Games Day, hence we're in the fight zone, because we had a go with Kung Fu Jesus earlier on. It's a bit of an interesting premise. Let's let them explain.
The game starts off with Kung Fu Jesus, who is Jesus Christ coming back to Earth. He doesn't remember who he is, and he ends up working for a dodgy drug dealer. So in the game, you take a fly agaric mushroom, which increases your max stamina, and then because you've ate that, you meet Mr. Mushroom, and Mr. Mushroom asks why you've ate him, and then he says, if you eat me again, I'm going to challenge you, and if you lose, you die.
So Streets of Rage 4 plays really, really well. The art style is looking great. The representation of the characters and the enemies from the original games way back when is all there, and all of the mechanics you'd expect to be there are there. It's looking really good, so fingers crossed for that one. We also spent some time with Adventure in Aellion, a third-person adventure game with some strong Zelda influences. The aesthetics are a bit of a Minecraft, Portal Knights kind of cartoony vibe, but the actual mechanics of the game are really, really strong. We spoke to the development team about it. Let's take a look.
It's an open-world adventure game, so you can adventure through the world on your own with friends, go into dungeons, solve puzzles, go on quests. There are quite a cast of NPCs that we've got running around, quite a cast of characters. It's not voice acted, it's all text, like a classical, maybe a Zelda adventure game, your old style PlayStation 2, GameCube era RPGs.
Finally, the last game of the day was Luigi's Mansion 3, which after its debut on GameCube years ago is actually, I think, better than ever on the Nintendo Switch. I got to play in handheld mode on the Nintendo Switch Lite, which was a little bit difficult to see at times, if I'm honest, but I still think it certainly performs well, and I think it will be a good game overall when it comes out in just over a week on Halloween itself. So that's it from us here at EGX 2019. What was the game that you enjoyed the most hearing about? Let us know in the comments below, and subscribe for more from Pass the Controller. Bye!